Today we are here with Robin, and I'm so excited to introduce you. And what's so special is that when we get out of our own comfort zones, we are blessed by others. And this is a great example of how we're here today for the fact that Robin's friend, my friend as well, Cheryl, invited me to an event last week with for women, and they mainly all had real estate in common. They're realtors. And it was easy for me to say, I'm booked, I have a solid day. And then I went back and thought, is that the same advice that I would give one of my clients when you're invited to a great space for women that can inspire you right where you are? And thought, okay, I need to shift. Did it take a lot of work? There was lots of shifting, even with my kids because of the timing. And so I knew I would meet incredible women, and Robin is one of those incredible women. We were at the event, Cheryl introduced me, and Robin shared a little mini part of her story. And I wanted her here as an inner view, as a wise woman, because it can find you in a space where you recognize that you might need to shift something, change something, ask for more, be more specific or clear about what your intentions are. And maybe you're looking to Robin to partner because you've always wanted to go into real estate, and she'll open that door for you to, check it out because she has opportunities, not like most realtors because of the connections that she has with the company and a conversation. Maybe you want to sell your house. Maybe you want to buy a house, and you can contact Robin because there's nothing greater than a very significant community of like-minded women who have a purpose, who have clarity. And so as soon as I had a conversation, I was like, yes, I want to interview her. So she jumped right in, clicked the link, and here she is today. So thank you so very much for your precious time because I know you're very busy. And so we'd love for you to share a little bit more about you.
Hi, thanks for having me. It was great to meet you also. Um, well, where do I start? I hope my dogs don't bark while we're talking, but
It's all good.
um, I've been in the business now for 3.5 years. And I just dove into it. One day I decided I am just going to step out of my comfort zone. Our family was impacted with the loss of my son. Our oldest child passed away. He battled cancer for 2.5 years. So a little history before that, I was in and out of salons working, mostly a stay-at-home mom, and that was wonderful. It was hard because I've always loved working. So, I mean, it was a different type of work, and responsibility. So I was home for quite some years with my children, and my social circle was my kids. I did everything around them. I was at home, homebody, introvert, Play-Doh all day long, all the things, all the mom things. And so I really didn't know how to live outside of that world. And when my son got sick, 2018. He was 13 years old. Um, Fast forward, he had a very aggressive cancer. So the day he was diagnosed, we were in the hospital. He battled for 2.5 years. So we were very isolated again. We wanted to protect our other kids, our home. My mother was going through health issues at the same time, so we combined our household so I can help her as well. It was rough. So then we had COVID 2020. My son passed that year, May 29th. So um, it was tough. I said, how am I going to pull myself together, continue life, show my other two children that we're strong, we're resilient, we're going to get through this. And so I had to just turn inside and say, okay, you're going to do something uncomfortable. You're going to put yourself out there. And that's basically what I did. I hopped online. I was inspired. My brother-in-law is in real estate also. And I noticed that it made such a positive impact, the people that he surrounded himself with and the things he was doing with his life. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to give it a go. I tried to do this, gosh, when I was 19, but I wasn't in the right headspace. So I said, let's see if we're here now. I'm going through all this stuff. I'm just going to do it. And I did. I took the course online, passed my test, and um, with a year after my son had been gone, I walked into the brokerage and started my real estate business. Terrified. Hadn't used a computer in 10 years. Hadn't socialized much, because I was busy being mom and doing all the thing full-time Robin, full-time mom, full-time wife, and helping my mother, caregive for her. So it was scary. I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get people to trust me with their biggest investment when I can't even figure out how to load a document on my computer? So I really threw myself out there, and there was a lot of fears and unknown. But I figured, hey, if I can get through this, I can get through anything, and then I'll show my kids and my husband, look, we can go through hard things. We could do more hard things, and we'll get through it, And so here I am, loving it. I've met a lot of beautiful people. My kids are doing fabulous. My husband's doing well. We're all sticking together as a tight team, and day by day, we just do this thing called life, and I have no regrets. It's been one of the most fulfilling things that I've done in a long time. And it's hard because, it's hard to get people to get to know you, like you, and trust you. You just don't get business just because you're Robin or you know someone or you buy the fancy things. You really have to put yourself out there, and there's tons of rejection, just because maybe that person's not ready. So um, I didn't realize how much, because when you look at other people in their real estate careers, it looks fancy and they have the nice suits. And, I started from nothing. I had no wardrobe, still don't really. I had no computer. I had an old phone. I just was so far out of touch, but I challenge myself all the time. And that's what keeps me going. So, yeah,
Well,
that's pretty much it. And
if you only wore the suit that you have on and made it your uniform, it is stunning on you. The color is
oh,
beautiful.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, making it, and it makes
You.
me
I
feel
didn't
better
wear
that,
blue either.
yes, it looks so good. I love it. And it makes me feel better to know that you have beauty in your background because I noticed your eyeliner immediately when we were talking. And
Oh,
I think I get to ask you what it is because it is perfect and liquid. I don't know if it's a liquid liner.
it's a gel liner, and honestly, you can get it anywhere, CVS, Walmart, Target. It's just the little pod, and I
Well,
think
you
it's
make it look
Maybelline.
easy. You make it look
Yeah.
easy because you have that little flair. And I was like, oh, I meant to ask
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But because you have beauty in your background, that makes more sense. Yeah. And you're,
Yeah, did cosmetics for years and hair for years, and yeah, and that was a fun business. That's a whole nother thing, but very similar to real estate, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely in that service side. Yet being able to walk people through their dream home is pretty, significant. And that
Oh,
switch
yeah.
you made. Oh my goodness. And what I remembered when I met you is that you had said how you shifted from the convenience of working with your brother-in-law, not convenience for drive, but that connection
Right.
to him and how beautiful that door opened, and then recognizing
Yeah.
that that wasn't really benefiting your family because of the drive. And so that you had to make
Right.
another choice and another shift. So,
Oh, yeah, that was scary in itself because, I it was familiar to me. I'm getting out into a new work environment. Just it, it's so crazy how much life can pass and how much technology and everything changes while you're at home, mom, especially if you don't get out and you don't socialize and you just, I dedicated my life to being at home with my family. So I did, it was very comfortable for me to choose his brokerage. It's got such a nice vibe and everyone's friendly. And um, it was a less scary because, he owns the brokerage. How crappy are people going to treat me? I'm his sister-in-law, It was just like those little safety things. So when I did branch off, I was only in business. I started out there on a team, and then I decided to go solo, which was a big step because I'm like, I still don't know how to use my computer yet. I'm gonna have to do all these things by myself. Um, the real estate part of it didn't scare me. It was more of the moving pieces, the contracts and things like that. And then, so yeah, I branched off a year after getting my license, which was pretty quick. And I just took off to EXP and no regrets. It was a change that I needed to make and prove just one more thing to myself that I can do it. And there's no one standing over me. I have to be self-accountable, punctual. There's no boss. There's no one saying, "Hey, did you do this or that?" And there's no one to hold my hand. So I find myself jumping into things. I don't take too much time making decisions anymore. I'm not a procrastinator. It's I can make pretty quick decisions. I fail forward. If I goof, I'll try again. And that's just what I keep doing. If I fall, I get back up. And when I talked to my brother-in-law, I said, it's just going to be a sink or swim for me. I have to do it, and I'm going to have to believe in myself because if I don't believe in myself, then who's going to believe in me? I have a pretty big responsibility to people. They're moving. Maybe they lost a family member. They have to sell their home. They're elderly. Moving is very emotional for people.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I have enough compassion and empathy and patience and that's why it really fits because the first time home buyers who are terrified. I know what it's like to be the first, or um, just something new or big life changes. So that is where I get most of my joy in the business is helping people. Letting them know you can lean on me. We'll get through this. We got this, and most of my clients become my friends. And I am a softie in that department because I do have issues with boundaries because I will answer my phone all night long, if somebody's in a panic. And but that's okay because I'm learning and I just want to be super helpful. But yeah, in this business for me, I just make sure I give it my all. Why not?
Oh
And I
my
have so
goodness.
much more to learn.
I love so many things that you've shared and the fact that it's what it sounds like to me is it wasn't one decision. It was one
No,
after another. And and recognizing that the only way you're going to fail is stop making those choices and
right?
settling. And you didn't settle and you chosen. And we're teaching a series in our Worthy Collective, and it's ask, allow, receive. But yet I'm going back to teach the believe part because you have to believe first. And when you, like you
Yeah.
said, you had to believe, sink or swim. That started the whole thing off. Then you asked for
Yeah.
where, when, how. Brother-in-law stepped in. Then you allowed yourself to make a new decision, and now you're
Mhm.
receiving and reaping different benefits and blessings because you believed first, you asked, you are allowing, receiving. And I see it as an infinity loop that sometimes we as
Yeah.
women, we block it because we're like, I'm not going to ask for help. Nope, nope, I got this. And then you're like, well, wait a second. Someone might be able to be willing, able, and when they do, we would block their blessing if we didn't. So.
Correct. I
So
agree.
proud of you. That is awesome. And you continue
Thank
to keep
you.
growing because of that. So that attitude makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And relating to somebody in that process of moving is, they say, one of the three biggest, changes in our lives. I mean, it's not just a zip code. It's a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a time a whole lifetime or a whole lifestyle change, and it's tough. People get attached to their homes, and it's just not a transaction for me. Yeah,
That's good.
that's why I'm not a commercial agent. It's more than a transaction for me. And as much as I give to them, they give back to me not even knowing. Just just being able to help. I'm naturally a helper. And I used to have a hard time, and I still do have a hard time asking for help. I usually rely on myself. I don't, it's just my personality. I don't like to seem like a bother or you're asking too many questions and all that thing. It gets uncomfortable for me, to be honest, to ask for help. So that's another area. this year I'm pushing myself to ask more, put yourself out there.
It is.
Yeah,
And you know
that's
what? I found, and I want, once I have a few things locked in and my giant board of projects gets a little lighter, I want to do some research on this because what I teach and I work with a lot is the five languages of love. And
mhm.
are you familiar with it?
I am.
Okay. So what I've noticed is when we are act of service, we typically, and I say we, and I'll just say me, and I've been seeing this more with very dominant places that women are acts of service, that is a common thing that we all have because when we
Mhm.
serve, we're in control of what we do. Yet it's hard
Right.
to open that door back and say, oh, okay, I receive, and it's more like,
Right.
no, no, I got it. I got it. I got it. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
we do have it. And we block a blessing when someone else steps in and says, can I help you with that? And then it's the take a
Right.
deep breath. Yes, thank you. Or no,
Yes.
thank you, because I know the way you work and
Right.
that boundary that you said that you're like, oh, hey, here we go. Let me test this out. So you are
Right.
not alone in that. And a lot of us, we're just recognizing that space. And what I've been really able to help myself with is recognizing that when I do ask, I get doubly blessed because I have someone else who wants to do like I do, which is serve.
Mhm.
So it's not always easy, but we can hang
Oh,
together on that one because
not.
it is a process. It is
It
not a
definitely is.
night thing. Not for me, it is not. It's an
Not
awareness.
for me. I've been working. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's awareness that I've been really noticing it more commonly because when you're in a service dominated business, it is a love language, so it's beautiful. So it's a natural fill our cup and we can also carry all of it. So,
Yes.
yes, we might have a little bit in common there. So let me
Yes.
see. I have a few questions here that I think would be really helpful.
Sure.
You've already answered a number of things, yet what would you say would be the most important lesson that you've learned on your journey to success, both in business and in life, that you wish more women knew?
You know, it's learning to let things go, honestly. For me, I think as women, we tend to hold on to emotions and things that pop in our own heads or someone said, or, just little mental blocks that we pick up bits and pieces from everything. And a lot of that is garbage. And I think that we need to learn more to let that emotional attachment go to those little things that get into our headspace and control our next step. Um, I still practice that all the time. If someone, I just have to say, let it go, like the book, Mel Robbins, I swear by that. But it works and it's worked before I even got my hands on the book. I had to start saying, learning that I don't have control, I guess, over everything. That's huge for me. So I guess to boil it down, releasing some control over everything and just let things be sometimes. For me, that was the biggest aha. And I learned that the hard way. When my son got sick, I had no control. That was, I thought I did. I mean, I had journals, I wrote everything down. The doctors couldn't ask me a question I couldn't answer. I knew it all. I was just ready, prepared to, on a mission. But I had to learn, like, once, I lost him, I said, wow, you have no control. You're going to have faith and you're going to have to just let these bad negative thoughts or something someone said, let it go. You stop trying to control how everything's going to be, and just learn to just do, just try your best, and that's it.
I think
And
your
that's
timing is
just
perfect. It's so perfect the way you said that because I've had many conversations with some really powerful women this last week, and what I found is that they literally put themselves in a pit of pity because they think bad. They think anger. They think, that emotion of frustration, like, I can't do this, I can't do that. This doesn't, this isn't in my control. And because we're used to stepping in and being responsible, yet it isn't our responsibility, and understanding those deep, dark, horrible thoughts are coming. The part that's not good for us is the replay over and over and
The
over.
replay.
You know what I mean? Like
Because
it's
that becomes embedded. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's there not to say like and it's like you think the bad thing and then you go down this terrible blah, and you stay that's what's bad because we all
You're
have
right.
negative thoughts. We like to say that we don't, then you are in a dimension of
Right.
how good, great. Most of us are not there, but it's understanding to stop the madness as soon as possible to say, wait, hold on a second. That is
Hmm.
not helpful. We are all common
Right.
in it. We all think it, and then it comes out and we say it, and then we've been there a lot longer than we realize. But the longer we
Hmm.
keep in that, it's the hole we keep digging. And so many, and somebody literally said, "Well, I had these terrible, awful thoughts because it was more like a revenge situation because they were so angry."
Hmm.
I'm like, "That's common. You're not alone.
Yeah.
What's
Yep.
not going to help you future is to stay there." So it's that
Right.
pivot moment, that opportunity to say, get a hold of yourself. Hold on, what can I do? How can I go? And I think that's so beautiful in understanding, checking yourself in the book, Let Them. I think her timing is beautiful and how Mel Robbins has gone to all the research to find all of
Yeah.
the doctors and psycho psychologists, and I'm trying to think of all the array of experts that she has found
Right.
support all these places that sometimes we, that path that we go as women, we're like, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not this, I'm not that. And it's like, actually, we're all available to make a different choice. So
100%. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep.
So, how do you maintain focus and clarity on your vision, especially when you are faced with challenges or self-doubt?
This is tough. It's tough for me. I tend to plow through things, I guess. I have to learn to take a step back, because I have to learn how to balance not plowing through stuff and not avoiding things, if that makes sense. It's more of I'm still working in that area. It's a balancing act for me for sure. Because sometimes, I get in my own headspace, still. I try to throw things out, change that internal dialogue. Um, I don't know that I have a good answer for that one yet.
Well, I
I'm
think
not quite even
your ans-
sure.
your answer is beautiful in recognizing that it is an action. And I think so many people are in action and they block the opportunity to fail and learn and apply immediately because they're not in action. And yet,
Hmm.
recognizing what you do avoid could be for a reason. Is it fear? To ask yourself a number of questions when you feel the pause, the hesitation. Is it your gut? Is it your
Hmm.
intuition? Is it your God within that, you hear a whisper and you're
Yeah,
like, oh, hold
right.
on. I think that as women, there's so many times where we feel that space where we're like, something doesn't feel right. And then we're like, oh, no, no, no. And then you get into it and you're like, oh, man, I knew it. So that avoidance
Hmm.
is good in awareness. I'm a big one. Everybody knows it's ABC, awareness before change. So in awareness, to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Because that's an important pause in figuring out if it's blocking you from something that might be harmful. Um, in the book, we started our Worthy Collective with Jamie Kern Lima's book Worthy, and it was one of my favorite parts of that book was objection is God's is or, hold on, let me see if I get it. Rejection is God's. Oh my gosh, I'm totally black when I'm saying it. I think it's um, rejection is God's redirection. You know what I mean? When something doesn't go
Yeah,
the way we want it, we're redirected for a reason. And so many
I
times
believe it.
that closed door that we're like, "Huh," and there's a window. in those situations where if you check yourself, why am I avoiding this? What am I stopping for? It's a reason. There is a reason. And the faster we get to figure out that reason, the greater. It's when I believe there's more blessings from action. And sometimes, like, that's where we get in a habit of inaction and we block more
Yes.
opportunities. Like for Wednesday, I mean, like, to say all the things that I wanted to say. And then I laughed because I was like, gosh, I haven't put on shoes. And one of my clients was like, what? I'm like, listen, I sit at my desk, I get ready every day, but I'm in slippers because I'm in my home office.
Right. Yeah.
And with kids, I'm usually in tennis shoes or flip-flops. So it's
Yeah.
different. And it just made me giggle like, yeah. Not only was I getting out of my comfort zone, my calves were geting a workout because I
Yeah.
had, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you
Yeah.
know it. When you have a full day of showings, you want to wear the cute shoes, but you think, okay, this is a long day. I might need to go for more
Right.
appropriate shoes. But the difference is
Right.
you're opting in and you're showing up. So awesome.
Yeah. You
So
got to show up.
yes, always showing up. So it's in that action. So I would say that's great. It's all in awareness. What daily habits or practices have been key for your personal growth and achieving your goals?
I a lot of positivity. I try to start my morning with something positive. Um, I thank God every day for a new day, another day, and I count my blessings. I don't try to. Every day I make a point to say thank you, acknowledge our blessings, and now acknowledge the sun shining. Just to be more aware of the good things in life. So I hyper focus on what I'm grateful for. And there's a lot to be, I never realized that you can uh, suffer depression and have an enormous amount of gratitude. That's a weird combo that I had after losing my son. I know I keep going back to that, but that's the first time in life I had both, and I was aware of both at the same time. So that gets me through. So, a positive mindset. Um, I try to, I get negative. We're human, but I try to focus on reading positive material, um, music, anything that lifts my mood will help me perform better in other areas of my life. So if I can keep my mind right, and it helps keep everything on task.
It doesn't
So
sound like there's an if. It sounds like it's absolutely a when.
yeah,
And not even,
yep,
I guess I realize it sounds like a WIN, but it's more about WHEN because you knew what you needed to do so that you
right,
didn't slip further into a state of depression more than what you were enduring. Because again, what a beautiful display of you can be the greatest mom, the greatest wife, the greatest realtor, yet there's certain things that are not of your control. And
right,
I think that when we recognize that as women and that responsibility for other people, there's still only so much responsibility that we have. We want more. We're absolutely willing because we're acts of service. We're like, hey, we'll take it.
right,
And then it's like,
yeah,
well, not theirs to give. So
right. Yep, you
beautiful.
can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And so that's, and it took me a long time to really understand that because, it's like I can give more. I have more. I have more. You're a mom. You can do all the things. No, sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to do a little some self-love too. That's really important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that visual of um, the cup because I think that's where a lot of women are completely on empty and they don't know actually how to fill it. They don't know the
Yeah,
act.
and it makes you feel like you're not good enough. When your cup is like dry, you
Mhm.
start to feel just not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I didn't accomplish enough, and it just will spiral, I think. So if you can give back to yourself some, which is so important, I think it truly does matter because we tend to think that we could just do, and we don't need. And so I just think that yeah, sometimes you got to pour back into yourself or surround yourself with someone that's going to give you a little pop of motivation or whatever you need.
Tough love.
And that's how, yeah, bring
Yeah.
everything together. It works for me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it. So true. So, if you could give one piece of advice to women stepping into their power, striving for their best selves, what would that be?
Do the uncomfortable things.
Love it.
Just do
You
the
keep doing,
uncomfortable.
which you keep doing. And has it gotten a little bit simpler in the sense of like when you say yes?
It has. It has. Yeah. It's tough at first, but man, once you do that one thing that you thought you couldn't do and you start building that you just the confidence back or gaining more confidence in yourself, you release some of that self-doubt. I think that's the thing. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to look stupid or whatever we tell ourselves, or that we're not good enough, or you're too old or too young. Throw all that out and just do it. Just try. What's the worst? I mean, I really feel like people doubt themselves too much and they miss a lot of great opportunities. I think that people can do a lot more than what they really are aware they can do. We're capable of a lot, and I say just try. I have to push my kids even. My daughter, she is very shy, more introvert, so I let her be her. That's okay. COVID didn't help, but I make her do some uncomfortable things at times. And once she does it, like with all of us, it happens at any age. If you can just make yourself do something uncomfortable and keep trying, that's all you can do. You'll get better at whatever it is you're trying to do or break through wherever you're trying to get to.
Yep. Um, it reminds me of, we talked about this. So part of our Worthy Collective, we meet on Sundays, which is a challenge, I know, for a lot of women, because Sundays can be a day of rest, can be a day of work for you, being that it's
Yeah.
a day that is needed based on people's schedule. And so
Mhm.
what we talked about, we keep talking about, and I feel like I've been saying it more often, to recognize that in some of the most serious practices of, or not practice, in the most serious spaces of our lives is medical, right? Where we
Mhm.
have to lean into medical advice, the hospitals, we have to lean into medicines and certain things out of the years of experience and technology and all the things that kind of blend that. And even in something as serious as that, it's called a practice.
Mhm.
Like a doctor has a practice because no
Okay.
situation is identical. It's similar, but not necessarily identical. And recognizing that as our businesses grow, as our families grow, as um, our health and wealth and all the, even beauty, there's always a place of a practice. Like you're great at your liquid eyeliner because you've had practice. You didn't just say, I'm going to try this new thing today and like winged it. Like literally what I know to be true, anyone who is, beautiful brows like you, like this isn't your first day. Like you've got it down,
Oh,
and
thank
so
you.
those situations that we recognize that sometimes we want to compare, like our day one to someone's day or the 10,000 hour,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like I comparing somebody's 10,000 hours to their, first day at the office. And,
oh, that's hard. Yeah.
but it's
That's so
also
hard not to do.
beautiful. It's so beautiful
Yeah.
though when you blend that because it cuts somebody's timing in half. Being in a place like we were
Yes.
last week, learning from the greats in the room. And I don't know,
Right.
I'm not sure who inspired you most. I think they all were super inspiring in their own little way because they all spoke from their gift of genius, which I love,
Yeah.
seeing other women have a gift of genius and putting it to use. Um, I'd have to go back to my notes. She was a young realtor, had never spoken on stage before, and her ideas.
Oh, the open house. Yeah, she does the open houses.
Yeah, and just her thought process at such a young age was so beautiful because
Oh,
she
yeah.
had to do something different to coincide with people who would be like, "Are you old enough to do this?" Like she took a common concern and she flipped
Mhm.
it. But she flipped it because she said that she had leaned into other mentors to gain knowledge because she knew she needed to grab some sources and not be
Yes.
solo. And so many times I think as women, we want to do it all on our own. And we realize that we block blessings of our faith, we block blessings of support, all these other spaces when we try to do it alone. And that was
Yeah.
such a good reminder of the spaces and places that we can cut the learning. You cut the learning because
Oh,
you drove out of your way to go to your brother-in-law's, space. And then you were like, I have other options. And I'm sure at first the drive was lovely as a mom, and then it became not lovely because you wanted to spend your time otherwise. And so
right.
so
Correct.
is there anything else that's on your heart that you would like to share today?
No, it was just a pleasure sitting with you and chatting. And I look forward to seeing more from you. And I love the thought of women coming together and sharing and growing. It's huge. When I went to that event, honestly, that was the first time going to an event in probably 2 years. Uh, and I'm like, why was I avoiding this? There's some powerhouses in there, like you said. And
Hmm.
I was really happy to have gotten out of my, comfort zone and went. Feeling like I'm probably not going to know much of anyone because I'm the one that doesn't show up to events. But it was great. So I love that connection. I felt uplifted when I left. I love seeing powerful women come together of all ages, from all walks of life. And I think we do have a lot we can offer each other. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yes, it was great. I hope my dogs weren't barking.
No, I don't think so. And